Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Closed Doors. Today it is the workshop Cosplay. And today we actually don't have one model, we don't have two models, we're actually gonna have three models. Not for all sets, but for one set. And I don't know what to expect yet, so it's gonna be very exciting. Because three models, that's gonna be tricky. Now with tricky I don't mind, it's incredibly difficult to shoot three models, but in the case of cosplay you also want to make sure that you do that storytelling. And with storytelling it also means that everything has to fit together. And well, one model, that's okay. Two models you can do something, but with three you have to make sure that all three are actually in sync and also do the acting the right way, because cosplay for a large part of course is acting. So that will actually give us an extra challenge for today. And I'm really looking forward to it, because those things can give you unique photos. And as you can see, Chewie is already looking for the stories. Well, sort of. I guess. Probably. And as you can see, winter is coming. Yeah, I don't know what I have today, but it's gonna be fun. But before I start the workshop, I actually have to do something else. And I want to tell you a little bit about that. Okay, so what do I want to talk to you guys about? We all know that as photographers, we freeze unique moments in time that never ever come back again. We as photographers find it very normal that we carry around a camera or a video camera and capture those moments in live. However, you have to realize that in the old days, it wasn't that natural that everybody got their picture taken, right? Because at that point, the photographer of the city was actually still somebody that didn't shoot with a smartphone or a digital camera. Those were really guys where you went to, you paid a lot of money, and those guys created your portraits. And you could flash it around for your friends, like, look, I have a picture. In essence, even when you go all the way back in history, even dead people were photographed because they didn't have money or time during life, and then when somebody died you just realize, like, hey, we don't have a picture for that. So you see these morbid images from a long time ago where you actually see dead people posing around their family. But let's not make it too macabre. So recently we had a passing in our family, and from the passing we actually got this little bag, and it's filled up with images from somebody's childhood. For the holidays, I'm gonna scan in those images on our scanner and give it as a gift. Because let's be honest, seeing photographs back from your youth is one of the most valuable presents ever. And this leads us up to something that's very, very dear to my heart: Help Portrait. Now we are at the starting of December, and in the Netherlands, next week in our studio we actually do Help Portrait. And we still help a lot of locations around the Netherlands to organize Help Portrait, get them into contact with the proper authorities, getting sure that everything just flows nicely. There are a lot of locations, of course, that do it by themselves, but for the Netherlands we help them out with actually manuals, contacts, and of course a lot of tips. In our studio next week we're going to do it with John, one of our Year with Frank students, and we're going to shoot a lot of families. Now, why is it so important? As I mentioned before, we are capturing frozen moments in time that never come back again. For us it's normal, but there are so many families out there that don't have the money to make that lasting memory. So if you are a photographer, make sure you check out Help Portrait in your area. I kid you not, it's not only very, very important for the people that you photograph, but it gives you so much. Sometimes you can call it yin and yang, the balance. The whole year you work to earn money, and that one day you give back to the community. And trust me, when you see all those smiling faces and the people that really, really like what you're doing, that's just priceless. So before the workshop, I'm gonna scan in some old family shots. And, well, it's gonna be an awesome present, I think. So what are we gonna use? Let me show you. Now, as you know, I love shooting film, so we still have this Reflecta Oempf series. It's a really cool scanner for film. And as you can see, we can do slides, medium format with it. You can do a lot with that scanner. But for today, I'm going to use the Epson V750 Pro. It's a desktop scanner, a flatbed scanner. And you can actually do a lot more with this. You can actually scan film with it or negatives. You can scan paper with it, but also photos. It's a very, very versatile, very, very good quality scanner. So if you don't want to shelf out the money for a negative scanner or a positive scanner like the Reflecta, make sure you check out those Epson series. They're really, really good. And software-wise, let's take a look what we use for software. Now, of course, you can use the software that was delivered with your scanner, and sometimes those software packages are really, really good. But if you want to take the maximum dynamic range, want to kill noise, do some really funky other stuff with your images, for me, there's only one choice that really works, and that's Silverfast. I've been using it for years, and it's just an awesome solution, and it never ever let me down. Okay, because they're mostly smaller images, I just lay them out on the glass like this, and I will do the selection later in Silverfast. I'm going to use this to flatten everything. So as soon as you put this on and you put the lid down, it will flatten all the photos and make sure that you have proper in focus images. Because remember, your scanner has to focus. And when the images are just under the lid, it can always just bend a little bit and then you get out of focus images. And by using something like this, you actually flatten it down and you get razor sharp images. Now, at first the interface may be a little bit intimidating, but trust me, as soon as you start working with it, there are so many options and it's just really fast. So check it out, Silverfast. I will leave a link in the comments below. And if you still think it's too complicated, just press this Auto CRR and it will actually create something that's, well, very scannable. But of course, fine-tuning will make it even better.
Paper blade.
Okay guys, set number one. Set number one is always the compositing part in this workshop. Now, normally I don't do a lot of compositing, but during the cosplay workshop, I just can't resist. So setup is very simple. Make sure you have an even backdrop, meaning it's easy in Photoshop to take the backdrop out. Now, a lot of people will say like, hey Frank, why do you use a gray backdrop, so white without any light hitting it? The reason is very simple. I'm not good at cutouts. So when I miss something around the hairs and I use, for example, a blue backdrop or a green one or a red one or whatever, that will show up on those hairs. If you light it, it will reflect back on the face. If you use something very neutral like white or gray or even black, if you miss something, it won't really draw your attention like green or red or blue. So that's why when I do my cutouts, I always do it against a darkish, lightish gray backdrop, depending on the clothing. If she's dressed really dark, I will make the backdrop a slightly higher in value. If she's wearing something like white, I will make the backdrop a little bit darker. It's all aimed at making the making an okay selection, but not have any weird color fringing around the hairs or anything else. So that was set number one.
Nobody's like you. You are not normal at all, no. I feel like I want to let down my guard and just fall. Cause someone was before you, and someone let me go. This time I must know for sure. Cause someone was before you, and someone let me go. But I just need to be sure. Some say love's not for the bitter ones. Some say love will only bring you down. Some say love can feel much better now, better now. But will you let me down? like us. When people see us, they know. I feel so much for you that I don't know what to do. 'Cause someone was before you.
Set number 2. And this is a cool set, because in this set actually the assignment for the students was, okay, so here you have the story, find it on YouTube, find it on Pinterest, it doesn't matter where, but get an idea of the story they want to tell. How do those characters look? If you look at the Umbrella Company, do you want to do the comic or do you want a TV series look? It really depends on what you want and how you create it in Photoshop, but also how you create that style. If you just look at Batman, for example, I just love everything from Batman. But the difference between the Batman as he started out and the Batman we all know from, well, the Chris Nolan movies, very, very simple. That's a huge difference. Batman, if it started out, it was like a little bit goofy. It was okay, the world's greatest detective, but it was a lot of fun. There even was a series where he was wearing like a rainbow costume and fighting talking gorilla. So there was a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor. But there are also comics from Batman that are really, really dark. So when you determine a look for cosplay, it's important to 1, look at the costume. In what time zone or what look does that fit? And 2, also look at what you want as a photographer. I'm using 2 strokes from the back with blue gels. I'm using Beauty Dish with grit to light our main model. And I'm also using a strip light aimed from the top just to give a little bit light on light in that set. So it will just make the back characters jump a little bit out more. And of course a little bit of smoke. This was a really interesting shot because you can see that when the students work towards something, it's totally different than the idea that I have. And that's the cool thing about workshops like this, because you get inspired by what the attendees do and what I do. And it's a learning experience, right? So it's very, very cool to see what they came up with. And the only thing I actually changed was the action in the picture. When you look at the picture in a moment, you can see that Jamila is actually turning away. You see her hair floating through the air. And that's something else than just making your model stand. And that's also why I changed the beauty dish. If you look at the first scenes, you can actually see that the beauty dish was on the other side. I changed the beauty dish to this side because that was actually lighting her face when she made the turn. And the attendees actually had the light on the other side, so that means that she was lit before she makes the turn. But hey, when we make the turn, that's where we want the light hitting our model. And later on, I actually shot also an image from the different location. And this is important when you do a photo shoot and you find a location that really works and that gives you that awesome shot. Also try it from another angle, because sometimes that can even be better. And you be the judge. I like them both. But I think the one from the other angle, the second one you're gonna see, is actually a little bit more like a movie scene. The first one is really a picture. The second one is more like a movie scene. And personally, I like the second one more. So here we go, the 2 images. Okay, set number 3, we just keep on going. In this case, Supergirl and Wonder Woman. And trust me, there is a comic where they actually appear both together. So, does make sense. Now, in this case, we just use our click prop backdrops and we just place them in front with one big softbox with a Light Tools grid, of course, and just created vignetting around them and create a cool look in Photoshop. This was really a shot where I said, this is going to be a quickie. Just post the models the way that you want, make sure that the light follow is beautiful, and then just create the look in Photoshop. Done. So here we go. Okay, we had about half an hour left in our workshop, so up to set number 4. Normally we only do 3 during cosplay, but today we had a little bit more time. In this case, we wanted the killers back from the Umbrella Company, and I just wanted to play a little bit with the lens baby and actually a mirror, which I used to reflect some of the light back, or not the light, but of course you're reflecting light back, but you also get the reflection from our models. And I think that when you look at the total shot, it enhances that shot, makes it a little bit more weird. Also, by using that lens baby, I actually made one of the killers sharp and the other one like a little bit like he's twisting in time. And of course they time travel, so in essence it looks like he's a little bit out of focus with time, and I really love that effect. But the lens babies are awesome for that. They really bring out that creativity. So let's take a look at that picture. Okay guys, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed our cosplay workshop. If you want to visit one of our workshops, do remember, although the workshops in the Netherlands are in Dutch, when you visit the Netherlands and you want to do one workshop but you only speak English, no problem at all. Just let me know a few weeks in advance and we will actually teach the workshop you are going to visit in English. Because most Dutch people actually speak English, and if somebody doesn't speak English, no problem at all. We just move them to another workshop, if that's possible of course, and then just make the workshop in English. And if that doesn't work, I will just switch between Dutch and English. So make sure if you want to visit one of our workshops, let me know. We'll figure something out. Hey guys, again, if you like what we do, subscribe to our channel, leave comments below, smash that like button because we really like that, but most of all, tell other people about it. Tomorrow we're going to visit a vintage guitar and boutique thing in Max Guitar in Den Haag. Maybe we're going to do a vlog about that, but that will not be about photography, but about guitars. So join us for tomorrow's episode of a little bit of a special behind the closed doors. See you again next time. Bye guys.